Our worldview is the lens through which we see the world and the filter through which we understand the world. Everyone has a worldview that they operate from. Everyone has an answer to all the issues of life. The question is, where do these answers come from? That is our worldview, and this is an audio commentary on the contemporary from a biblical worldview. Article, Pre-Political Realities. Dr. Joseph Boot recently said this, quote, "These are pre-political realities. The state does not exist to redefine marriage, redefine human identity, redefine human sexuality, and so on. The state exists to recognize and protect those things which are created realities, which are ordained by God," end quote. By way of expanding on what Dr. Boot said, I had got to thinking, so I want to expound on a couple of things. First, a quick comment, and then 3 points. A quick comment. These pre-political realities mentioned above would also include justice itself, and also issues that pertain to what is involved in the social justice, quote-unquote, tenets like race and equity, justice. Now 3 points to expand on what was said. Number 1, these realities, marriage, human identities, human sexuality, race, justice, and so on, exist without any establishment of a human government or any human establishment, period. So what is happening within our nation that has been increasing for some time is a product of a society that is progressively anti-Christian. When the foundations of life itself does not come from the Creator God, then it is only natural that in due time, for one, the distribution of the spheres of government that God has instituted, especially civil government, are conflated and misused. And then, two, this brings the most, quote-unquote, authoritative sphere of government, civil government, in the world's eyes, into the place that has the most control over all of life. They largely define life. When this increases and godless worldview increases, then you have godless people in high places seeking to control life from their worldview. This is the blindness that the American people are under right now. We are allowing this to happen with silence and retreating, and we are buying into the overreach by this sphere of government, civil government, to where we do not recognize this basic truth that these issues, these realities are pre-political, meaning that because their origins are from God, then God is the one who defines them. Those who did not come up with them and create them have no authority to question them or redefine them. This redefinition by those in high places is a product of the suppression of truth that is spoken of in Romans 1. The fundamental evidence of God's existence is in the things that have been made. This that has been made plain to humanity is the creation of the human being and the conscience that resides in us. With this in mind, it is no surprise that there is this redefinition in our society because by nature we want to dethrone God. And this is largely what's happening today. Number 2, these redefined realities give us a picture of the landscape of our nation and sadly of the church as well. These are theological realities, and everyone is a theologian. These are religious realities, and everyone is religious. The state is one idol that humanism uses to worship self, as the creature is worshipped over the Creator. What is said from America and elsewhere that denies these political realities and redefines them, they are theological and religious statements. These are the confessions of the humanistic religion of our day. This is happening on such a consistent increase that the unbelieving part of society is overtly anti-Christian, and the professing Christian part of society are wearing their Christian masks while virtue signaling the unbelieving world. Many of those professing Christians, I would argue, are part of the unbelieving society. This then leads us to number 3. When the church goes along with these redefinitions or allows them to happen within their church government that God has given them, as this happens in whatever degree, then the state is their God they follow and believe in a syncretistic and adulterous way that God condemns. This is where it gets to the heart of the problem we face today. Many within the professing Christian church have forsaken our God by becoming full-on advocates of these redefinitions. Those who openly celebrate these redefinitions are apostates. Then there are those who are allowing these redefinitions to happen in their midst, whether it is within their own church or their own denomination, while they sit quietly and remain in those environments. These are dangerously on the road to apostatizing as well if they do not repent and turn back to faithfulness by forsaking these falsehoods and by following the true King and His Word in all of life. The worst version of this is the compromising participation in these that's placating an ecumenical friendship through vagueness and supposed nuances. One example of this is where the ordination of homosexuals in the position of clergy is accepted if they remain celibate. They can identify as a homosexual, same-sex attracted person in many deliberate ways, just as long as there is no physical action. So one is able to be a homosexual pastor openly, deliberately, without the need to repent of such heart issues that go deeper than just physical action. These are such situations that deny these pre-political realities and give in to these redefinitions. And that is very damaging to the church and to the world.